The concept of metaverses, virtual worlds where reality and fantasy blend, has fascinated humanity for ages. Its roots can be traced back to ancient philosophies and mythologies, where different realms and worlds were common theme. The ancients might not have had the technology to create digital worlds, but their myths and stories were the metaverses of their time, vivid and boundless in imagination. Fast forward to today, and metaverses have become a digital reality embodying environments where people can interact, play, work, and even live in a virtual life. They are like the Matrix, a prime example of a metaverse in fiction where a simulated reality is so intricately woven that it's indistinguishable from the real world. This idea is not just limited to science fiction, it's increasingly becoming a tangible part of our digital experience. Comparing metaverses to grand fictional universes like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, we see a key difference. While these universes are vast and richly detailed, created by their authors, metaverses are more democratic. They are like a sandbox where the players or fans contribute to the world building. Fans of these big fictional universes do something similar, extending the stories and universes through fan fiction and art, but metaverses offer a more direct and immersive way to engage and expand their worlds. In contemporary art, the line between spectator and participant is increasingly blurred. Interactive art illustrations and virtual reality experiences invite the audience to become a part of the art itself, erasing the boundaries between observer and actor. This shift reflects a broader cultural movement towards more immersive and participatory forms of entertainment and expression. The prefix meta typically suggests something self-referential, transcending, or beyond a certain concept. Originating from Greek, meaning after or beyond, it's used to imply a change, transformation, or high level of abstraction. For instance, metadata means data about data, and a metamorphosis indicates a change in form or state. This idea extends to the term metaverse, which suggests a universe beyond our physical reality, embracing virtual or augmented realities. It's a space where the usual rules are transcended, allowing for new interaction and creativity similar to the worlds created by authors. Here, meta signifies a deeper level of abstraction and experience. In cultural and philosophical terms, meta-modernism and post-modernism represent specific attitudes and periods in art, literature, and culture. Postmodernism, which arose in the mid to late 20th century, reacted against modernism certainties and objective truths. It's known for its skepticism of grand narratives, emphasis on language and power in shaping reality, and focus on subjectivity. This often manifests in art as irony and questioning of authenticity. It's like the artwork's version of a teenager questioning their parents' rules. Metamodernism, emerging more recently, oscillates between modernism and postmodernism. It moves beyond the cynicism of postmodernism, embracing both informed naivety and pragmatic idealism. This approach recognizes life's complexities and paradoxes, but strives for sincerity, hope, and authenticity, balancing irony and earnestness. Metamodernism thus seeks to reconstruct meaning and narrative within a fragmented reality, navigating uncertainties to find new coherence. In summary, while postmodernism deconstructs narratives and questions truth, metamodernism looks for new meanings and connections amidst these uncertainties. Even the creators of the Matrix didn't miss the opportunity to ride the crest of the meta wave, shooting the additional part of the movie. It's not necessary to watch, but it aptly illustrates the subject of our conversation and hallmark of our transitional era. Now, let's bring in the art of ball-jointed dolls, which I found particularly fascinating. In doll play, we see a reflection of metaverse principles. Just as individuals immerse themselves in digital metaverses, doll artists and enthusiasts immerse themselves in a world of their own creation. These dolls, with their intricate details and lifelike features, become avatars through which players explore alternate narratives and identities. It's a form of storytelling where the creator and the audience are the same, much like a personal metaverse made of porcelain and paint. In essence, while author-created worlds are like carefully scripted plays, metaverses are more like improvisational theaters. But let me give you one example that fascinates me and a couple of my friends. There is this lady's Instagram account where she narrates from the perspective on the elderly lady and her tenants, guests, and other characters. I find it very fluid to discern the line between our real world and the fictional one in this case. At that moment, I am not thinking so much about the artistic means of conveying the story, but about the virtual world living in the author's mind, and considering that what we perceive as reality is essentially just neural signals inside each of our heads. I really don't see much difference. All this fascinates me, but just in case, I would recommend it in summary. Regardless of your interests, advise you to visit the place we all agree to call reality. Be sure to listen to our latest release with David Miret, available on all platforms. As per tradition, the cover features an unfinished doll. But as I'm eager to complete the collection quickly, I have to hurry all participants along. However, I like this photograph. It reflects the spirit of the heroine. As you can see, I have teleported into a new apartment. Initially, I was making an episode about depression and the internal search for housing. But along the way, I lost a piece of the script, and instead of reshooting it in the next day, I decided to wait. As a result, I now have a new apartment, a new third therapist, and a wealth of positive experiences. I even feel a bit awkward before myself for having despaired while going through uninteresting viewings and confessions to a therapist I didn't like. We really should program ourselves for success. So I'll tell you about my new experience in a week and about how I first encountered depression right now. For now, here is the intro. Subscribe. Soon there will be a lot of new content here. Let's continue our uplifting chat about how playing with ball-jointed dolls can be a delightful antidote to the blues. You see, I used to view depression as a challenge for the overly idle or imaginatively challenged. Growing up in the USSR, we weren't encouraged to get cozy with our emotions. I thought a strong work ethic and a bit of stubbornness could cure just about anything. But they say life is the best teacher, and sometimes the lessons are unexpected. My dolls are not just elegant playthings. They're a gateway to a world of wonder and imagination. However, there was a time when even this enchanted realm seemed a bit dim. My wardrobe turned a dreary grey, makeup was forgotten, and I felt more like a background character in someone else's drama. About my ex-husband, Well, he had the emotional depth of a teaspoon. The end of the chapter came years ago, but it taught me a valuable lesson. It wasn't his fault for being who he was. My real was taking so long to recognize and admit it to myself. Blaming him for my unhappiness wasn't fair. It was important to learn to see the situation for what it really was. Sometimes we find ourselves in environments while we are taken for granted. It's like being a marionette in someone else's show. But here is the thing, it's crucial to break free from that cycle and discover where you are truly appreciated. There is always someone out there who genuinely needs what you have to offer and is grateful for it. It could be a student, eagerly learning from you, a friend uplifted by your presence, or even a stranger who finds solace in your art. On a personal note, starting my doll-making classes was a big step towards feeling valued again. It wasn't just about sharing my craft, it was about reconnecting with the world. After a period of self-imposed isolation, these classes became a reason to step outside, engage with others, and rediscover my place in the community. It's amazing how teaching others can also teach us so much about ourselves. I've never been much for politics, but when Putin declared war, it felt eerily familiar, like seeing my ex on TV. Aggression has a way of blurring lines of individuality. It's a trait that can overshadow any personality. The key is not to let that aggression consume you. Smile through it all and keep your spirit intact. So here I am, piecing together a new chapter filled with laughter, learning, and of course my ever faithful dolls. Remember, never underestimate the power of play, the joy of creativity, and the healing that comes from teaching and sharing your craft. Dolls make excellent companions. They are great at keeping secrets and always ready to listen. Please don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with those who might need a little doll magic in their lives, and subscribe for more heartwarming doll tales. Keep dreaming, keep creating, and remember, no matter what life throws at you, keep that smile bright. It's your best accessory. The section on practical advice. Sometimes you might have finished making a doll, but notice that its eyes are looking in different directions. In real life, slight strabismus in people is compensated by constant change in facial expressions and eye mobility. However, those are like a snapshot of a moment akin to a photograph. If you want to achieve a magical result, don't skip on the expenses and ensure that the doll gaze is focused on a single point. One well-known example on the following eyes effect in Renaissance art is not a specific painting, but a technique commonly attributed to the era. This technique involves painting the eyes of the subject in such a way that they seem to follow the viewer around the room. A notable example, although not from the Renaissance period, that embodies this effect is the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. Her gaze seems to meet the views no matter the viewing angle. This effect is achieved through the use of anamorphic perspective. By positioning the subject's eyes to directly look forward, the artist creates an illusion that the eyes are following the viewer. It's a trick of perspective where the eyes are typically painted looking directly out of canvas. This creates the impression that they are following you. It's less about the position of the eyes and more about the perspective from which they are viewed. The effect can be both intriguing and slightly unsettling, making it feel as the subject in the painting is actively engaging with the viewer. It's a testament to the skill and understanding of perspective that Renaissance artists possessed, showing their ability to bring life and interaction to their works. So, ladies and gentlemen, doll artists, precisely calibrate the gaze of your dolls so that their gaze is direct, strictly towards the viewer. Ensure that the rays from the pupils are strictly parallel to each other. I am currently training the stable diffusion neural network in such a way that it generates my doll with an environment, which we will be designing in the style of meta-modernism with my patrons in a chat where heroine of these comics herself will participate. It is interesting to realize how the machine thinks. We live in interesting times. The personality of my doll Karma will be uploaded into a custom version of ChatGPT for developers and linked to a chat in Telegram. In this chat, I will discuss the plot of the next issue with my patrons. As you know, there is the Droste effect, a picture within a picture. But in my case, it will be a story within a story. It's interesting to see what will come out of this. It's still a work in progress. By the way, we shall be thankful to marketers for the effect. The Droste effect is the effect of the picture recursively appearing within itself in a place where a similar picture would realistically be expected to appear. This creates a loop that theoretically could go on forever, but in practice only continues as far as the image's resolution allows. I will keep you posted, and in the next issue, I will show you my new doll and tell you about the burlesque from Poble-Sec. Listen to our new song and subscribe, and don't forget to like it if you enjoyed it and to opposite if you didn't.